Hey, what's going on, guys? Tony here, CCxRC. Today on the bench, I have the Eazy RC Glacier, 1/18th scale, very scale realistic looking truck. It is, however, not a licensed vehicle. We've seen versions of this that are licensed, have a big Chevy emblem on the front end of them. This is not, and I think you'll see there's a couple other things that are different from this than the one that we've been seeing online from FMS. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this and just show you guys what you get in the box and what you can expect if you are to buy one of these. The packaging, for one, is not quite what you would get from an FMS vehicle with the nice foam carrying cases and all that. But what you do get is a very scale looking truck that has a scale footprint to it, opening and closing hood here, and as well as the tailgate. So we're going to take a look at some of this stuff close up. The hood on this one's actually closing good. I know some people have said that theirs didn't close that great or seal that great. Well, this one did. Okay, so let's take a look at this. One of the first things that you will notice that is different is the radio. This radio is very plastic. It matches the color of the car pretty well. But very plastic steering wheel, lightweight, on-off switch here on the side. You got digital controls on the rear here for setting your trims. And yeah, it's just a little bit weak feeling, the plastics. But it probably will do all right for what it is. Very uncomfortable in the hand. If you have a big hand as like mine, it doesn't really fit in here between the base and the top very well. So it's kind of uncomfortable. I'll have to figure out how I want to drive it. But if you're a kid, you may be fine. But just things I'm pointing out as I'm noticing it, guys. But this was sent to us to do a review. We will have links for it down in the description below where you can get it. They are affiliate links. But if this is something you're interested in, we're just showing you what it is. We have no real bias toward or against it. So we're going to be as honest as we can be while showing it. So I love the color of it. That's the first thing I will say. I've seen other versions. I like blacked out, more like working man type trucks anyway. And so this blacked out grille, the blacked out wheels, it just speaks to me. I like the color. This silver blue kind of just has a little bit of a shine to it that I like. It does have a scale interior in here, seat. It does not open to get guys into there easily, so you'd have to remove things. The door doesn't just pop open to put people in there, so you'd have to work on going a different route and disassembling if you want to put a driver into the cab. So that's one thing to note. It does have little plastic windshield wipers on here. Mirrors are hard plastic. They're not like a flexible, but they do have a little shiny mirror on the inside, which is a nice touch. Lots of scale details. I mean, the form on this is actually very nice. I feel like they're changing the game in some ways with the way that these bodies are on these micro trucks. So we'll take a look underneath. One of the first things that I do notice is that these frame rails on here, while they are a C-channel style frame rail, these are plastic frame rails on here. Plastic all throughout drive shafts, links. The shocks have a very steep angle on them, but it actually has a lot of travel. It's surprisingly well positioned, I think. They are just friction shocks. Again, in this kind of scale, that's not uncommon. Most of them do. It has an okay amount of movement, especially considering the way that they've done it. They have a full dropped bed in here. That is awesome. Super cool that they did that. Working lights on these. If you open up the hood here, you do have the open engine bay area. So this is interesting because the ESC and everything in here is not covered. You just see the board right in there, so you can see how everything plugs in. It reminds me a lot of like the Furtech systems. I'm not saying that that's what this is, but just that the board is kind of completely open. and visible to see how everything works, which is kind of neat, how everything plugs in here. Pretty cool. It is running an Eazy RC servo, and it said that the servo was a 9-gram servo rudder machine, they call it. So I've heard that it's not too bad. We'll see how it does. But yeah, overall, I mean, solid plastic body, bumpers. And with these, all of these, you know, the fact that it does have plastic isn't the worst thing in the world. You're not driving these really hard. They are for a very scale appearance, and I think that they have kind of worked that out pretty well. I'm looking at the transmission in here. Plastic transmission plate. So plastic, you're gonna have plastic gears inside everything. So lots of plastic all the way around. But these ones come in quite a bit cheaper. So there is that. It does have a 7.4 volt, 380 milliamp hour battery. It's a 2-cell LiPo. So 5C rating on it. But this does have working headlights and other lights. So you just plug this in here and you just slide your battery in that. Back into the back here. There's a little compartment for it. No Velcro or anything. You could put Velcro on your battery if you wanted, but you can tuck it back in there pretty good. It does have an instruction manual here. But let's see battery-wise. You have to have a screwdriver to put your batteries in or out. I don't know why they do that. Why do they do that? It clicks in. All of the other companies have these that you just push and slide and do it. But no, if you want to remove these batteries or even install them, if you're out and about and you buy this at the store, you can't go and just get batteries and open it up and start working on it. You have to have a screwdriver with you. So hopefully you're carrying something that'll work as a screwdriver for you. I'd rather put tape there to hold it together. Just need to get this screw out of here. It takes 3 AA batteries. It slides in, it's got this little rails that it goes in, and then it even clicks in. There's no need for a screw. Screw you. Okay, you can hear it hum. Steering trim seems all right. That is noisy. It is just a brushed motor. It's tucked up inside. It is right here underneath the drive shafts. Transmissions here. Again, your ESC is tucked up underneath here with your servo is a chassis mounted servo. So let's see. Whoa, no, I can almost not turn right at all out of the box. You turn left a lot. Right, not so much. So what that probably tells me is that somebody's adjusted the trim on this. Now we're getting a little bit better both ways. All right. But it's off a little bit now, so what I'll have to do to correct that is now I'll have to recenter this by taking this off. Try and get this to center where I get the most steering or something. I don't know, we'll figure it out. It's definitely off. So that's something I'll have to work out because you can't set like rates and stuff on here easily. But yeah, so I get a lot of steering left, none to the right. Top speed, not super fast top speed. But again, this is a scale truck. You're just gonna drive it out on the trails. The lights are odd. The lights come on when you hit the throttle. And they turn off when you let off. How many vehicles work that way? Every time you turn, the blinkers come on. And I don't see a way with this particular vehicle to program that. So reverse, your brake lights come on when you hit reverse or brake. Headlights come on when you're driving. So this would be something, you know, a good first RC car maybe, or if you're somebody that likes to mod stuff a lot, you could work on modding it. I'm trying to look here and see, trace some of the headlights, because if it were me, I'd probably try to kill the power to the headlights. And so it looks like the lights are going to be this furthest back one here. You can pull. And it's at the very back, closest to your on-off switch. We'll see if that did it. Because I don't think I'm going to actually want that operating the way that they were. Nope. Well, I did get rid of the rear lights. So I don't have brake lights anymore. I still have turn signals and headlights. So we need to keep it. What did that do? Okay. Now we've lost the headlights. But that was the very first one above the servo here. It is red and black. And then this red and blue one is going to be our turn signals. That's the next one. And that's probably just one side turn signal. Yep, so left, and then we have our right turn signal. So you could just start unplugging these if you want to turn those off. That's one option. There we go. Or if you wanted, you could just turn off your headlight or your tail lights. So I will just leave my headlights on. So as I'm driving, it'll have that look. And I'm wondering if I can set my throttle trim. Ah, I can. Makes it hum a lot, but you could set your throttle on so that even when you're stopped, just by doing the trim, it would have headlights on. But you can hear how noisy that is. And you also lose reverse. So that's not an option. So we'll just have headlights when we drive. All right, so now I have no blinkers, which is fine with me because when I'm just driving and making small turns on a trail, I wouldn't use my turn signals. I do have my brake lights, and I do have my headlights, but you can just pull the plugs that are operating them. So there's 3 small ones in the front that you can pull, and then there's one on the side. If you want to do what I did and change that out, it's pretty simple to do. There are no foams in the tires. And these are running Discoverer tires, Cooper, Discoverer STT Pro tires. Again, no foams. Feel all right. Quick look, size comparison compared to an SCX24. SCX24 is about the size of just the front end of this truck. So very different. Based on just looking at the truck and what I'm seeing, approach angle looks pretty good for getting your wheels up on things. Your departure angle, however, is looking like it'll be a little problematic, but very scale. So I just love how scale these are. The bed, everything in here. So I think that's what you're going to find with these. You get it to crawl over some stuff. See what it'll do with this wrench screwdriver here. Pretty steep, but it'll get up and over it. A little high center action. Probably should have stayed on the front of that. Can I use some wheel speed? Yeah, there we go. This would not be a good real world scenario. This would be like trying to go over a big tree that's down in the road. Let's see if we can't get over this back hump here a little bit. We're just gonna have to one wheel on it though, because if we definitely high center, we're done for. Oh, we're high centered. There it goes. But it's got a long wheelbase, so you have to take that into account. As you're approaching things, you have to look at the height of it, then try and think about high centering and what you can keep your tires on to keep some traction going. But overall, you know, I'm impressed with it. You know, there's small things. So what do I like about this? Pros, cons. Pros, the body is amazing. The look of it overall is really good, very scale looking. Having the interior is neat. Having the deep bed is awesome. Working tailgate is very cool. You can carry stuff around inside of here if you want to carry rocks around. So there's those scale aspects and details that they did that are very, very good, and they're just taking these to the next level. You know, it isn't licensed. That may bug some people. The FMS one is licensed, and it's a very clean red and white. So that's something to look at. The other pro of this is the cost. This comes in most places under about 150 bucks. So with the hard body alone, I mean, you can buy, I mean, just buying bodies, scale bodies, hard bodies can get expensive. And to get something that is this nice looking is pretty sweet. So that's a pro. Battery being tucked away up underneath here, I think that's really cool. Lights is a pro and a con. I wish that I could turn on and off the lights from the controller, like I can on my FMS Toyota that I have. So that is a nice thing, but it is an upgrade. That's why costs of those are higher. You do have a lot more control. Speaking of control, this controller isn't great. It's not good at all. So it would be something that I would want to switch out. Doing so would mean quite a bit of changing things out because it is built into the board here. So yeah, it's like a receiver board, but you can't just plug other things into it and make it work. It's got kind of a proprietary style servo lead on it. You'd really have to change out the whole ESC if you wanted to change out the radio. So you'd have to get a new radio, new ESC and new receiver option for it, and a new servo because of the type of connector they use with the servo. So it becomes problematic in that way to upgrade, but I know a lot of you guys are, I mean, you love to upgrade stuff, and that's not a hindrance to you if you're in it for the actual scale details of the model itself. But yeah, I mean, it's overall, for the amount of money that you're spending, it's pretty cool truck. I mean, you can get into the pros and cons on these as well, with the stock ESCs and combination stuff if you want, servos. But, you know, this one isn't running the stock stuff anymore either. I had to put in new ESCs, new motors, all that kind of stuff to make this really perform how I want it to. Although I will say it does have more performance for the size, just because of the shorter wheelbase. It helps with getting over obstacles and things and not hanging up as easily as you might with this. I like the size of this. The 1/18 scale size I think is a really good size. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to buy this, and the availability of it makes it pretty nice. So I'm sure we'll start seeing more and more mods and parts as these things really start to take off. You know, we're seeing them over, Lyle's been running them over, RC Athletes has a bunch of these types of vehicles, the FMS, the Rock Hobby, the Eazy RC, all run very similar style suspensions and parts. So I think we'll start to see more and more upgrades and hop-ups coming for them very soon. Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. Have fun RCing. Catch you in the next video.